Both the orderly and solemn military parade and the vibrant street procession are collective activities that can attract countless people to either stop and watch or actively participate. However, the thoughts and feelings of those gathered together can be completely different. When you watch a military parade, the overwhelming sense of solemnity and order is truly exhilarating. Behind this lies humanity's instinctive pursuit of structure, predictability, and powerful forces. The highly synchronized movements in a military parade can trigger a physical sense of pleasure, which psychology refers to as the synchronization effect. Throughout the long course of human evolution, synchronized actions have always been a symbol of safety. This kind of visual stimulation awakens our primal longing for group belonging and order deep within our genes, bringing a profound sense of security and satisfaction. A military parade is also a concrete manifestation of authority. Whether it's the orderly formations or the latest weaponry, they all convey a single message: a powerful system is at work. These symbols of authority satisfy people's need for stability and protection, making us unconsciously feel a sense of connection and belonging to a greater whole. If a military parade is a projection of authority, then a protest march is precisely the opposite. It is a challenge to the status quo, a powerful demand for recognition and change. When people participate in a march, their core psychological drive is to see each other in a tangible way. Here, my individual demands converge into a powerful we. When you see tens of thousands of people who share your beliefs, your personal convictions are strengthened. For example, during the 1963 March on Washington, more than 250,000 people gathered together to fight for jobs and freedom for Black Americans. At that moment, every participant truly felt that they were part of the civil rights movement, not just an isolated voice. And even when we are bystanders, watching others march for causes we don't particularly care about, we still feel a certain inexplicable excitement. This comes from our instinctive admiration for courage and action. When marchers take to the streets, the very act of breaking the silence is itself a tremendous force. From global climate strike movements to the cries of "I can't breathe" from Black communities, to the proud declarations of identity by the LGBT community, we have witnessed the courage of ordinary people taking action for their beliefs. This kind of courage inspires us in subtle ways, making us feel that they are doing something on behalf of me, on behalf of everyone, that we ourselves have not been able to do. What we support may not be a particular cause, but the act itself, because their courage proves that change is possible. These two types of collective action may seem clearly distinct, but throughout history, their boundaries have often been blurred, and there have even been dramatic intersections between them. During the February Revolution of 1917, the authority of the Tsar first collapsed within the military. The soldiers were ordered to suppress the uprising but hesitated with their guns in the streets. In the end, they turned their weapons around, no longer firing at the people, but instead marched side by side with workers and citizens. They tore off their epaulets, attached red cloth strips, and joined the demonstrations armed. The scene was chaotic, yet there was a shared sense of power. The military was no longer a tool for maintaining order, but a force driving the revolution. At that moment, the line of authority was completely overturned, and the old regime began to totter. More than a century later, in 2025, similar tensions emerged in the United States. A grand military parade was held in Washington, officially to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the founding of the Army, but many interpreted it as a personal celebration for the president. At the same time, a protest movement called No Kings erupted across the United States, with more than 5 million people taking to the streets, chanting, "We are citizens, not subjects." On one side was an official ceremony showcasing national unity through military power and historical narrative. On the other was a grassroots movement challenging the narrative of authority from the bottom up. The coexistence of the two created a symbolic clash between state power and the will of the people in public spaces. We can see that although both military parades and protests involve large-scale collective action, they fulfill different deep-seated psychological needs. A military parade is a call from the collective to the individual. Through its grand sense of unity, it reminds us that we are part of a greater whole, and within that, we find a sense of security. In contrast, a protest is the individual's use of the collective. It allows each unique me to bring their own demands and emotions together into a powerful force. Here, the collective is a means, and individual expression is the true goal. Each of us lives in a dynamic balance between the collective and the individual. Sometimes we long to merge into a powerful whole, finding inner peace within order. At such times, we are drawn to military parades. But at other times, we need to emphasize our individuality and find like-minded companions to speak out together. That's when we throw ourselves into protests. Both of these behaviors make use of humanity's collective psychology, allowing individuals to find their place and meaning within a vast group through different rituals and forms. That's all for today's content. I'm Zuzu, who loves to ask questions. If you found this content helpful, feel free to subscribe and leave a valuable like. Your support is my greatest motivation to keep creating.